Okay, so I know there are a lot of people out there that have these fireplaces. This is a direct vent. This one here goes straight out the back. The top hole is blocked. Goes straight out the back, and it is leaking air very badly around the bottom of it. The air comes actually out right through there, and it made the stone in front of the fireplace very cold. So much so we had to pile pillows up in front of it to try to stop the draft from coming in. So what I've done is I've gotten it apart. I've discovered a couple things that I'm going to show you now that are an issue. First things first, they did a horrible job in here with sealing up this fake fire or chimney chase. So they just used Tyvek tape, of course, which isn't going to hold for any length of time. You can see it's all pulled off down here. It's all pulled here. So the wind is coming through a little bit in those spots. And then of course up in the very top, they didn't even really try. That board that's up against the house is a nailer. The air just pours in through that. So that was leaking a little bit, but it wasn't as much as I felt coming to that fireplace. So I got to digging around on blogs and everything else that I could find to try to help solve my issue. And I was not coming up with anything. So I started reading through the installation manual, and I discovered that these double-walled pipes where the intake's on the outside and the exhaust is through the middle, it explains how they click together and stuff. And then there's a little note to the side that said the caulk you need to use is a high temp caulk up to 300 degrees or something like that. And I was like, wait a second, that's not in the installation manual part to caulk these. That was just a disclaimer of when you do caulk to use the right kind. So I got to looking, and of course there is zero caulk on my pipes. And so what that did was this area right here, the air just poured through it because you got this piece here that all it does is just lock in when it slides in there. And that just wasn't enough to keep those breezes from leaking around this area here. So this area here is actually excluded from the outside of the fireplace itself. It goes directly into the firebox. That's what feeds air in, and it's through a channel that goes straight down and into the bottom, and then your exhaust comes out here. So it's actually designed halfway decent, but there should be zero air coming in to this area here and blowing around, and that's what we had because they didn't seal it up. So neither pipe was sealed up. I actually had to end up cutting it because spinning it to try to line up the tabs just wasn't getting it. So I'm going to go ahead and actually spray foam the chase. You'll see that in the next video, and then I'm going to use caulk to seal up the pipes, and hopefully that's going to knock this out. But just typical builder shortcut, the cheapest way they can get is what got this. So stay tuned. Got it all spray foamed. Everything's good and sealed up now. You want to keep it away from that pipe. Come up to the edge of the retaining ring there. And also make sure that you get it sealed all the way down to the floor. Now we're gonna, well, you can see what I did it with. I just did one of those froth packs. It's a 200 square foot one. Of course, I didn't come anywhere near shooting 200 square feet, but that's where we're at. So I'll save that for somebody else if they need it. Up next is I'm going to caulk the pipe into the stove there, and it's going to be this edge here with the ears right here. I'm going to just do it up the best I can and then get a glove on if I have to smear the rest of it to make it all seal up good. So I'll show you what I come up with after this. I don't know how well you can see that, but got a good thick bead of caulk there on the inside of this tube, and it's going to just slide right over the top of that and push that caulk and smear it all in there so it's good and airtight. The bead of caulk was pushed out as I put it on like I wanted it to, and I just went ahead and took a paint stick and stuck that paint stick up in there and smeared it all around to make sure that anything that might not have gotten totally sealed did. And just for reference, I'm just using something I found on Amazon because I wasn't finding it anywhere else. It's a high temp silicone, and this one I believe goes up to about 500. Slide the new pipe onto the old fixture on the outside of the house there, the old vent pipe. You see it goes just right outside that wall there, and it exhausts out. And that's also where the intake is. I've also put in a good heavy bead of silicone there, and mainly because I'm not going to be able to reach back in there even with a stick once I have this without taking the outside of the house apart. So I'm just going to shoot for it with that. That wasn't really the issue before anyway with the air leakage. It was more of this contraption here. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the fireplace back in there, and here's hoping. So there it is, slid into place. I did not get any push out of that black silicone around here, so I'm going to go ahead and run a bead as much around it as I can. And then smear it around with my finger just to make sure things are good and sealed up. I couldn't actually get to this surface on the back side of the fireplace, so I'm able to get to this surface here, so I'm just going to take advantage of that. So there it is, it's in place. As you can see, there's a screw hole right there that I'm going to put a sheet metal screw in to hold it in place. There's one on the other side you really can't see from here, but that silicone is smeared around there. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but hopefully I never have to see this again. Kind of highlight here why I had to replace this pipe. As you can see, it all slides together there. You're supposed to be able to line up those two seams on those two pipes there and it come apart, which I'm pretty sure it will. But it was very difficult to get those two pieces of pipe to spin, even though they didn't have any silicone on them, because they were just binding up on each other. So I ended up just taking a Sawzall and just cutting right across here and cut the whole pipe in half, and it was easy to slide out that way. I wasted probably 45 minutes or so trying to get that to come apart the way it's supposed to, and ended up tearing up the piece of pipe. So that's when I just gave in and got the Sawzall out. The pipe itself, that little bitty 6-inch pipe there, that's a $45 pipe. So choose wisely. The other pipe that goes outside of the house, that's over a $200 piece of pipe because it has all that heat shielding and all that junk on it. So I'm pretty sure somebody's going to have a complaint about my fire foam there. That was an early attempt at trying to stop the air leakage into this because I thought maybe it was coming around from the seams of that stuff. So I shot some fire foam from the outside in, and it's been there for 2 years, so don't tell me it's going to catch on fire or it's going to cause a problem, because we've had this fireplace going a lot and it's never had an issue. So there it is. So here it is. Fire is lit. I haven't got the deflector. There's like a heat shield, or there's a deflector that goes in the back of it to help direct the exhaust out. Haven't got that on there yet. It's no big deal. But you can see there's gas that you have to do. This is not probably your entry-level do-it-yourself. I had to take the floor, the walls, the surrounds. It's going to get a whole new tile job all the way to the ceiling, and a new tile in front of it. This was, I would say this is probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the do-it-yourself. I also took the opportunity to run some more data cables. I got a Cat 6, coax, fiber optic, another HDMI, and I got them all ran down there. I haven't got that all buttoned up yet, but I wanted to get this thing in and make sure it was lit and there's no gas leaks and everything's flowing properly, and there is zero air blowing in around. It is a cool day out, probably in the low 30s, and there is a breeze. And I've got no air leakage around this thing right now, blowing into the house. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark this thing up as a success. I can imagine I'm gonna probably knock about $20 a month off of my gas bill once I have everything all buttoned up on it. And yeah, so far, really the caulk that was about $7 and the piece of pipe, which was $45. That's all the real expense that I have in fixing my air leak problem. But I had to tear the whole thing out and make an opening big enough for me to weasel in there. So this is probably going to end up costing a couple $1,000s with my wife's design style and desires. So thanks for watching. Good luck on getting yours fixed. And any professionals out there that install these that are watching this, start caulking the pipe, please. Quit just throwing these things together. It does not look good on the product. I don't know how many times I was told by stove manufacturers and installers even that are local that that's just the nature of these things. They leak air. So that is not the case. That firebox there is the only thing that gets air in it from the outside, and that should be the only thing that gets air in it. This should be a totally separated system from the rest of your house. So good luck, and I hope you find this helpful.